Why smart people stay broke. Some of the smartest people you know will never be rich. Not because they aren't intelligent, but because their psychology works against wealth. Society tells us that smart people succeed, but the real world tells a different story. Intelligence helps you solve problems, but wealth is built by how you think about money, time, and yourself. Smart people often choose comfort, stability, predictability, safety. Comfort feels responsible, but comfort quietly kills leverage. It removes the pressure to grow. It keeps you in the same place, even when you know you should move. Most people think in straight lines. 1 hour worked equals 1 hour paid. But wealth doesn't grow linearly. It grows through leverage, through systems, and through compounding decisions that work long after you stop. Money decisions feel logical, but they're mostly emotional. Fear of losing, fear of uncertainty, fear of looking wrong in front of others. Smart people justify fear with logic. They call it realism. They say they're being careful. But most of the time, realism protects comfort, not growth. Wealthy people ask different questions. Not, how much does this pay right now? But what does this build over time? They delay comfort. They invest in leverage. They build systems that work without them. They think in decades, not days. Staying broke is rarely about income. It's about identity. If you see yourself as a worker, you will always think like one. But when you see yourself as a builder, everything changes. This channel exists to rewire how you think about money. No hype, no shortcuts, just how money really works. If that matters to you, subscribe. You see this all the time. People with degrees, high IQ, strong logic, yet they struggle financially. Meanwhile, someone with average intelligence but strong psychological patterns slowly stacks opportunities, connections, and assets. It's never about brilliance, it's about behavior. Two people can make the same income and end up in completely different places. One person sees money as something to protect, the other sees it as something to deploy. One plays defense, the other plays offense. That's the difference between staying in the middle and moving up. Think about this. Most people don't stay where they are because they can't grow. They stay because growing is uncomfortable. Learning new skills, meeting new people, asking for opportunities, putting yourself at risk of looking wrong. Comfort protects your ego, not your future. All wealthy people have one thing in common. They stop trading time for money. They build systems. They build leverage. They build value that multiplies, even when they're asleep. That's why working harder never beats working smarter. Smart work compounds. Hard work burns out. We like to think we make rational choices, but the brain hates uncertainty. So it convinces you that staying where you are is safer, even when it's not. Most financial mistakes are emotional. Buying because of fear of missing out. Selling because of panic. Avoiding opportunities because of imagined risks. Fear hides behind smart-sounding sentences. Now isn't the right time. I need to think about it. What if it doesn't work? Wealthy people zoom out. They play the long game. They're willing to feel uncomfortable today so they can be free tomorrow. Meanwhile, most people chase small wins, quick rewards, and temporary comfort. That's why the gap grows wider each year. Your identity sets the ceiling for your financial life. Change who you believe you are, and your actions follow automatically. Builders build, workers wait, and wealth always favors builders. Take a moment and think about that. Most people never notice it, because they're too busy surviving the day. Let that sink in for a second. This is the part of the story where most people stop listening. And that's exactly why nothing changes. Sit with that thought. Don't rush it. Every major financial shift begins with a single uncomfortable realization. Think about how this shows up in your life, in your decisions, in your habits, in the way you handle pressure. This isn't theory. You've seen it. You've lived it. And deep down, you know it's true. Slow down for a moment. Look at the patterns, not the excuses. Notice how all these statements sound intelligent, but all of them lead to the same outcome. Nothing changes. Here's the part most people completely overlook. And when this clicks, everything else starts to make sense, not just for now, but the next time you make a money decision. Because this is where the shift begins, not in your bank account, but in your perception.